If you want an American-made pocket knife, but you've only got 50 bucks in your pocket to spend on it, what do you get? We're going to answer that and more on today's episode of Knife AQ 190 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter. Welcome to the FAQ. That is Thomas behind the camera as usual.
What's up?
If you're new to this series, what we do is we answer your questions and we take them from the comment section below the video. So that's where you got to put your question if you want to have it considered for a future episode. First one today, Spokes28. I am looking for an EDC for a gift for someone with larger hands. Would like a USA made knife and have a budget of $50. Would you have a recommendation in this category? Thank you. Yeah, I got a few things we could take a look at. Given those constraints, that American made and under 50 bucks, or no more than 50 bucks, you're gonna have some fairly basic steels. Don't look for or don't expect anything too exotic in what you're getting. But I think we've got a few options here that are pretty solid, pretty reliable. The first one that comes to mind is a very nice one for the money. The Buck 110 Slim Select. This is kind of my first go-to recommendation for affordable American-made knives, and it fits right into this category. And this is whether you have big hands or not so big hands too. They do have the 112 Ranger, which is a 3-inch blade with a smaller handle, but this one right here, it's the classic outline of the Buck 110, slightly modified at the clip point here out at the tip. But 3 3/4 inch blade, long injection molded handle there. I mean, I have slightly larger than average hands, and I could have a 6th finger on my right hand and not have anything to worry about, except, rogue fencers coming after me. But this is about 34 bucks. A few different colors are available. You've got thumb studs for one-handed opening, which the classic 110, of course, does not have. Rear-mounted lockback and a pocket clip, reversible for left or right-handed carry. That could be a very good option. Now I would recommend this over something, I have it over here as an example. The Buck 110 LT. This follows the exact same profile and dimensions as the classic 110, but you've got the thicker handle of the classic 110 and no pocket clip. So it's a little more cumbersome just slipped into your pocket without the clip when you're talking about something this size. Likewise, the Gerber Gator can be had for under 50 bucks, but this is a chunky thing and it comes with a belt sheath. Not really most folks' EDC, I wouldn't think. We do have some more options from Buck, however. Oh, I should mention the steel here. If you want a stainless option, this is probably the best edge retention you're gonna get. 420 HC here, not anything exotic, but Buck is known for getting kind of better performance than most out of this steel. It does perform pretty decently.
Bang for Buck, huh?
Yeah, exactly. The other Buck folder you could look at is the Bantam. There's a few different sizes. The large version here, you can get them starting around 27 bucks for just the black handled version. It doesn't have to be this blaze orange, but there's a few different camo options as well. Like I said, it starts at 27 bucks, 3 5/8 inch blade, again, 420 HC, and injection molded handles, mid-mounted lockback in this case, single position pocket clip, right side, tip down carry. So something to consider, but an even more versatile blade shape. I say that because I prefer the versatility of a drop point a little more than a clip point, but both of them are going to be perfectly fine options. You could also look to like traditional slip joints. There's a lot of stuff in this price range from Bear & Son, and even a little bit from Case that falls into this price range. Check out, for the biggest handle I could get for a classic slip joint in this price range at about 45 bucks, the Case Sod Buster. This is not the Sod Buster Junior, that is a smaller knife and more common, but the Sod Buster, this is the American Workman series, comes with a red synthetic handle, plenty of grip length as you can see right there. 4.6 inches is the closed length. Let's see, what is the actual blade length in this case?
I'm gonna start calling it Mr. Sodbuster.
In this case, Mr. Sod, as opposed to Sodbuster Jr.
Exactly.
That works pretty well. Tip to scale length is a little bit over 3.5 inches. Sharpened length is about just a hair over that 3-inch mark. So it feels like a bigger knife than a 3-inch blade would suggest, and that's because there's more blade than edge there. But that actually has a real nice feel. You're dealing with a carbon steel blade, and I believe their current carbon steel they're using is something like 1084. So decently tough, decent edge retention as well. Along similar lines, I did mention Bear & Son when talking about the slip joints. They've also got stuff like this. This is the Farmhand. It's basically a sodbuster type pattern, but kind of updated along similar lines to what the 110 Slim has there at the beginning. We've got slim handles, aluminum in this case, so a little more premium feeling than anything we've looked at so far. The grinds on the blade are likewise a little more crisp feeling, a little nicer for this price range. And you have a lock back here. It's not a slip joint. And you've got a deep carry, almost a deep carry pocket clip. It is single-sided here. However, this is not a reversible clip. And this is not a one-hand opening knife either. This is a two-hand opener, as you can see. The steel here is just 440 stainless. I doubt it's 440C at this price range, but it's just listed as 440. So again, basic stuff, reliable, but you are going to have to be able to maintain it. Not quite as much handle length as the case that we just looked at, but still I'd say plenty there. And it is slimmer. If you want bulkier handle grips, this and the 110 Slim are probably not the ones you want to go with. Sharpened length here, about 3 1/8, and about a little over 3 3/8 for the tip to scale measurement. One more folder to take a look at. This is actually one that is assembled in the USA, but it is, so, foreign and domestic components, but they are put together here in the States. But this is the only option I could really feel comfortable with in terms of a more modern, like a truly modern feeling folder. And this is the Schrade Melee. Oh shoot, actually comes in at $53. Sorry about that. What can you buy with $3 nowadays anyway?
Start couponing.
There you go. So yeah, assembled in the US, you've got a D2 tool steel blade, so pretty darn good edge retention, but not a stainless, so keep that in mind. You've also got the Tonto profile and partial serration, so a wild difference between this and the other blade shapes we've looked at so far. G10 for the front side of the handle. You've got a reversible pocket clip, frame lock for security, and this is an assisted opening knife. So you've got that spring-assisted blade opening. Not quite as roomy a handle as the others, but as you can see, still decidedly full size in any case. Let's just go ahead and just measure that kind of effective grip length. It's about 3 5/8 of an inch from peak to peak right there. So manageable for most. Depends on how large of a hands your friend has, in fact, but that should also work pretty well. Fixed blades could also be an option here. I wanted to say the K-Bar wrench knife, but that one, the handle was a little shorter than I was remembering there. And since you want something with big hand, for someone with big hands, check this out. This is the Buck Packlight series. This is the Cape Select version. Comes in at 40 bucks, 2 3/4 inch blade, 420 HC, skeletonized handle, but you've got a little bit of thickness there thanks to that piece of injection molded material that is bolted on, and a pretty large amount of real estate for that handle. The sheath is over here. Right out of the box, it could be easily used as a neck knife, so carry it around like so. Also with something like an UltiClip, which we're going to talk about here in a minute actually. This could be rigged up for pocket carry as well. Might have a fair bit sticking out of the pocket, but that is an option. Might be a little more left field, but wanted to throw it in the into the pool of consideration just in case. Hope that helps. Next question. We're going on to our measured once, cut twice segment, where usually we take a second slice at a previously answered question, but this one's actually, it's more of a comment of the day actually. But this is in response to our video last week where we were talking about names of knives that were just kind of weird, like poorly or oddly named knives. And I talked about the Metaproptizol from Kizer. Here we have a couple people actually made this comment, but Steve Shame, there is a crime novel in Russian where Metaproptizol was a medicine against fear. That makes a lot more sense. Because, with the kind of chunky fixed blade that the Metaproptizol is, it's kind of an appropriate connotation. If anyone actually knew what the heck it was in the first place. Well, 2 of you did anyway. Thank you folks for making that comment. All right, now we're coming to Damyr's Buried Treasure.
Yeah.
Where thanks to Damyr's comment a few weeks ago, we are going through the alphabet of brands we carry and bringing something to the forefront that we've never featured on the channel before. A brand we've never featured on the channel before. We're on the letter I today, and there's only 6 I letter brands that we carry on the KnifeCenter, so the pickings were slimmer. But Innovation Factory is the brand, and this is the Trucker's Friend that they offer. It comes in about $70. Interestingly, on the website, it's Innovation Factory, but this actually says Off-Grid Tools on the packaging and on the handle. Couldn't find Innovation Factory anywhere. Maybe you get 2 O's in this this whole series, but that's where you'll find it on the site anyways, under Innovation
I and O
Factory.
are right next to each other on the keyboard.
Yeah, I don't think that entered into this particular.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Sure, why not? So the Trucker's Friend is a multi-purpose bashing, hammering, prying tool. You've got a nail puller, a prier, a chisel-y thing, nail puller here at the back, hammer edge, sharpened edge here, although it's not very sharp. Definitely could use some work. Don't do this at home. So yeah, lots of different things that you can use. It's got a nylon blade guard. You can also get a leather sheath for it. They also make a rescue version of this, which is essentially the same, but it has an oxygen tank wrench slot in the head. Is that right? Let me make sure. Now that I'm thinking about it, it seems bigger than that. Gas cutoff wrench. Right there. So yeah, pretty cool. You've got a fiberglass handle, I believe. It feels like fiberglass. I should know these things. Yes, it is a fiberglass handle. And really aggressive rubber grip here with this, forward pointing peaks that really lock in your grip. Might be uncomfortable over prolonged use, but you are going to have a very hard time with this. It's going to be very hard for this knife to slip out of your hand. Knife, tool, whatever you want to call it. There you go. That's the letter I for today. Well, now we're going to come to the lightning round for today. First questions from Lone Star Towboy. Why is it called a neck knife when it's actually a neck carry? You mean like the reason we call knives we carry in our pockets pocket knives? Sorry, I just wanted to be snarky a little bit there and back. Yeah, makes sense to me. Lord D's. How can I tell if a Tek-Lok or an UltiClip will work on my knife sheath? I got a Civivi Circulus from y'all, and the knife is great, but the clip just doesn't hold at all. Would like to replace it with something that would hold in the pocket of my jeans or on my Western boots better. Here you go. Short answer is UltiClips, no problem. Tek-Loks aren't really going to work with this whole spacing. But for the UltiClip, if you get any of these slotted versions, like this is the Slim 3.3 right here, the slots here offer a wide degree of adjustment variability. And as you can see, we're going to hit a few of those rivet holes, no problem on that Circulus sheath. You'll have the clip standing about that tall, proud of it. The Slim 2.2, you could mount it down low and have the clip there, or you can mount it up high and have it sticking up like that. But any of those slotted things, that's where you get that variability and almost ensuring you'll be able to actually use it with your thing. And just for the sake of doing it, for those who are curious about the large and small Tek-Lok hole spacing, we'll start with the small. From the middle, like the closest 2 holes together, we're about a ½ an inch apart, and for the large, we're about 1 inch apart. So if you have holes that are those spacings, it should work with a small Tek-Lok. For the large, the middle 2 holes were 3/4 of an inch, and the outer were 1½ inches spaced out. Hope that helps. Should be mentioned Civivi's T-clip. I should mention that as well. Instead of the center slot here, it has, or instead of the center hole here, it has a center slot. So you have a little bit of that variability, adjustability built in. In fact, we don't have one here, so I can't tell you whether that'll work with the Circulus or not offhand. I apologize. Next question. Why does it seem the evolution of knife steels has slowed down over the past 2 years? Has the high-end knife steel industry reached a peak with steels like MagnaCut? My response to that would be the knife steel industry has never been fast. MagnaCut, of course, kind of upended the game a little bit. As you can see it on this exclusive armature right here. And it may be that other companies are trying to learn some lessons about how MagnaCut was able to do what it has done and apply it to their own formulations. But yeah, knife steels, it's never been a particularly fast evolving industry. I mean, we still use steels today that have been around for centuries. Simple 10 series carbon steel has been around a long time and is still applicable today. So
it just seems fast because Crucible came out rapid fire with S45, Spy 27.
Spy 27, S45, yeah, MagnaCut all came out in the same year and all made big news. I think that was more a factor of converging coincidences rather than anything. But I'm sure we'll see more. Of course, we're going to see more, I think. Anyway, now we come to our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most serious question of the day, which comes from Brandon Lowe. Halloween-themed most serious question. You only get one knife to help you survive a night in the woods, packed full of all the cryptids of North America. What are you taking? All of them? Oh boy. So this was difficult because I had to do some research, make sure I was up to date on all my cryptid lore. I had to make sure we weren't going to include the fearsome critters as well, those folkloric creatures. We're going to put those to the side. We don't need to worry about that. But really, what we need here is a broadband defense network, and that means a knife that can deliver a broad range of deterrent measures. Because let's be honest, if any of these things come up mano a mano, we're not going to stand a chance. So we got to keep them away. And that's why I am going to go with the UST Paracuda Pro sawback machete. One, it's affordable, $27. And first line of defense is right here on the outside, fire. Fire stands your best chance, I think, of keeping the critters away. So you've got a ferro rod here at the front to help you with that. Beyond that, here is the blade itself. You've got the survival whistle, with which those loud shrieking noises can potentially deter your would-be cryptid assailant. Also might help rescuers zero in on your position.
Or attracts new creatures.
Don't know, no, that's just bad thinking.
Which might scare away others.
I don't know of any cryptid that has like a whistly mating call, so.
No researcher has ever survived to find out.
That's right. Then you got some cordage, of course, if you need to make some impromptu shelter, like a hiding place, very important, or even increasing the length of this 11-inch blade if you want to strap it to a stick or something like that. Just don't throw it, because then it's gone. Hang on to your blade. And then all else fails, you do have an 11-inch blade here to at least give you some kind of fighting chance of being just annoying enough that they don't want to mess with you. Let's face it again, you're not going to win. I hope that helps. Truly. Your life may depend on it. Well, that's all we have time for today, folks. Keep your questions and your most serious questions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the answers today. And if you have any alternate suggestions for the folks who are asking, drop those in the comments as well. Maybe it'll get featured on a Measured Once, Cut Twice on a future episode. But anyway, if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, make sure to check out the links in the description that'll take you to KnifeCenter.com, where in addition to our new Sezzle payment options, make sure you don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can get some free money to spend on your future knives. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We are signing off. See you next time.
How's it going to do against Slender Man?
It's not a cryptid.
Not yet.
Yeah.